We lead with this. Police say they're applying various methods and tactics in a bid to try and rescue 3 people held hostage by a police constable in a house in Mamelodi East in Pretoria. A special team comprising of the police's hostage negotiators, as well as a special task force and other units from the South African Police Services, have been camping outside the house since the morning. Our reporter Patricia Visagie is on the scene. Patricia, we spoke earlier, and of course you were able to make contact there earlier on with the constable in the house, and briefly had spoken to him and his grandmother held hostage by him. What do you have for us since then?
Well, what I can tell you is that the situation obviously remains tense. Police have their hands full trying to, have a breakthrough, trying to obviously disarm him. One of the elements that have led to this deadlock is the fact that the constable is still with his pistol. Obviously, it means that those with him are still at risk, in particular his elderly mother, who we also spoke to, who, expressed her distress and her fatigue, saying that she's tired. Just a few minutes ago, a colleague of mine, reached out again, and apparently she was praying out loud, just hoping that there would be some intervention. So far, the situation remains the same, with police, trying to establish exactly how will they manage to get the hostages out of the home. We've also managed to establish that the 18-year-old is also fine. Apparently, he's sleeping, but he is still there in the house. He's also fine. So pretty much police hard at work trying to find a way. As we mentioned earlier, one of their main goals is to make sure that they bring all the people that are in that house, including the constable, alive. They bring them alive out of that particular house without any fatalities. That is one of the challenges that they're facing. I'm just going to give you a wide shot to show you what is happening here. Community members that are obviously standing by. It's been a long day. It's a long evening. It's also getting cold. Temperatures are dropping rapidly. You can feel, the cold that is seeping in. But a lot of people are standing by, waiting to see exactly what the outcome is going to be. Will the hostages get out of that house alive? Will the 32-year-old constable be able to get out of there alive? Earlier, when I spoke to him, one of his demands was that he wants to share his story with the media. He wants the whole country to know his story. He spoke about a whole lot of things that he's unhappy about, some that he links to his family, his partner, talking about that he's heavy-hearted, he has a lot to deal with, he feels misunderstood, and he feels that he has worked very hard. He has, kept his best foot forward, but yet there's a whole lot of difficulties that he found himself facing. So whatever that means, we were not able to establish, but what I can confirm is that the police are still busy trying to find a way to get the hostages out of the home.
When we spoke earlier, Patricia, you weren't able to confirm either from the constable himself or the police at the time whether or not the constable had his service pistol with him. You mentioned now that you've got an indication that he does indeed have his service pistol with him. Was the police able to positively confirm that?
Yes. After we spoke, I, obviously went to the police just to get that detail straight, and they obviously explained to me that that's one of the conundrums that they're dealing with, and it's an obvious one. If he did not have a pistol, it would be easy for them to obviously, release the hostages, but that is one of the problems that they're dealing with.
Yeah, you've been able to make contact with the constable, but have the negotiators and or the police been able to make direct contact with him to attempt to talk him out of the situation?
They've been in talks with him since this morning. The police confirmed this with us. He also confirmed this. When we spoke to him, he also confirmed that he's been speaking to his colleagues. So the police have been in talks with him, and they've been speaking to him throughout. And that's how they also said that, one of the stumbling blocks. One of the challenges is to get that pistol out of the house without harming anyone, and they're having a challenge with that. They're trying to deal with the situation as sensitive as possible. In particular, if you take into consideration that his mother, that's frail, that's elderly, is also in the home, so they're trying their level best to make sure that she is not harmed, because she's probably one of the most vulnerable that he might target. So that is one of the situations. So the police, they firm on the ground. I did mention it earlier. Even now, this whole street is draped with police officers from different departments that are here. You also have other services, emergency services that are also here. So there is a holistic operation that is firm on the ground. Police are, having rapid communication with him, also to get updates in terms of what the situation is in the house, what the state of the hostages is, and whether they're still fine. And also, the most important is that continuous, confirmation of life, whether they're still alive or not. That is happening by the minute, or however the intervals are. But that's been happening throughout. The police have told us, and as I said, spoke to him as well. He also confirmed it.
Yeah, well, we're going to have to leave it there. Patricia, thank you so much for that update. Really do appreciate it. Patricia Visagie on the ground in Mamelodi, east of Pretoria, getting a sense of what's going on in that active and ongoing hostage negotiating situation.